Alice Allen. I'm the Deputy Manager at North Shropshire Home Care, and we are a domiciliary care company who operate in the North Shropshire area. We're a relatively small company. At the moment, we've got around 23 members of staff and just under 40 clients. Primarily, the kind of work we do is a lot of personal care, working with people with dementia and people who are end-of-life care. But at the moment, we're also pushing to do more social calls as well and getting people out into the community. So it's a bit of a mix, really.
And how long have you been working with CareLineLive?
So we joined CareLineLive in the summer of 2020 during the pandemic, which was probably the most perfect time to join, if I'm honest, just because of the limitations that we were given during the pandemic in terms of how many people could be together. We were limited with things like staff meetings. We were limited with things like going out and checking files. So just being able to join CareLineLive and having a lot of the information right in front of us remotely, that just made a world of difference for the pandemic.
And what were you doing before CareLineLive?
Before CareLineLive, we were completely on paper. So the rostering system we did use another company for, but care plans, all the care notes, that was all paper-based. And the rostering system that we used was once the rotas are out, if you get a change or an update, if we don't remember to send that out, it didn't go out. So it was very much once it was done, it's done. And we couldn't see a lot of the information for our clients in terms of care notes. So we were quite limited on what communication we had because, again, if staff didn't tell us, we didn't know. Just like if we had a change with sickness, if we didn't tell the staff, they didn't know. So there was more opportunity for things getting missed, like, people missing calls if their rotas had changed, or if someone had written something quite serious in the care notes that had happened, and then with a busy morning just forgot to tell us, we wouldn't then have that information to deal with it. So yeah, we were paper-based, and I didn't realise how difficult paper-based systems are until we went digital, and then I realised it just was so much better. So, oh yeah, we've saved so much time, and we get a lot, like the staff just feel a lot more informed. If there's a change to a care plan, immediately they'll see that on their app. If there's a change to a client's care calls or they've cancelled, they'll see it on their app. Even little things like birthdays, just like you get a little notification of someone's birthday by their name when it's their birthday, so that they're a lot more informed of what's going on. They don't need to ring us as much for little things, so we've got more time to be focusing on the management and admin, auditing, that sort of side of things. And I think the best thing that we found with it really is families. We've had such a stronger relationship with families because we've got a lot of clients who their families maybe live like 2-3 hours away, and then because a lot of them have dementia, they'll ring and say nobody's been this morning, and they'll think, oh my god, that's it, the care company, they must be awful, they haven't visited, when actually they just look on the app and they can see that we've been, and their family member just might have got a bit confused that morning and just completely forgotten about it. So yeah, it's definitely helped with that as well. And even just things like if we've got meetings with healthcare professionals or people like social workers, best interest meetings, and they want to get all the information, it's so much easier to send it to them through CareLineLive than it is to go to someone's house, photocopy what we've done for that month and send it over. And sometimes, handwriting isn't legible. So there's that benefit as well. There's other benefits as well, like, we'll have a lot of people say, the carer only stayed 2 minutes or the carer only stayed 5 minutes. And the way that they clock in, you can see how long they've stayed and, exactly where they clocked in and exactly where they clocked out. And, so we've been able to address a lot of those things as well. So when it comes to, concerns or complaints, we can, show exactly what we're doing, and it's, evidenced properly rather than just your word over my word. So many benefits that I just, the list goes on and on, basically.
So, for the purposes of people watching this, you've been referring to two of the three aspects of the system, really: the Carer Companion mobile app and the Care Circle portal, which is where friends and family, as well as other healthcare professionals, can have access. Have you found that those professionals and their families have found it easy to use? How have the carers found the Carer app to use?
So the carers find it very easy to use. At the very beginning when we started setting them up, we had a lot of people who were technophobes. But I went out individually with every single member of staff and kind of went on their calls with them until they felt confident with it. And even people who are, not very good with their own phones or don't even know how to send an email on their own phones, they pretty much got it within one day. So it's that simple, really. It's very simplified. Everything's on there. It's very user friendly. The families as well, we can just send them the invite link and they manage to navigate themselves. There's only a few that don't, and with one email, we can explain to them how it works, and then they actually go, oh, that makes more sense now. So it's very, very easy and user friendly, definitely. And even on the web environment side, so the side that we deal with in the office, it's very straightforward. And if there's bits that are a bit complicated, I've always found if you ring CareLineLive support, they always either answer immediately or they'll call you back within 30 minutes to initially address your issues. So very good response time on that as well, definitely.
What do you do with new members of staff? How do you onboard them with CareLineLive?
So with CareLineLive, everybody's got their own profile, and the great thing about this, and I'd say it probably for the service users as well, but we'll go for staff first, is CareLineLive has so many sort of options and boxes that you can be filling in that there's definitely things that we weren't probably filling in beforehand, or information we weren't gathering before that we do now. So it asks obviously the usual name, address, date of birth, whether they walk or drive, those sorts of things. But one thing that we found was it asked for things like next of kin details. We didn't originally do that, but we found that's actually been quite useful for when little hiccups happen at work. It also has a section where you can list all their training, so that's all in one place. It has a system where you can get notified when training is due, and you can see whose sort of things are coming up on the dashboard. So if you need to know, someone needs to do this bit of training or it expires this week, you can let that member of staff know. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of what we do. As well as that, though, the way that it works with the rotas, you can see everybody's hours. And we also, generate people's wages through CareLineLive. So instead of what we used to do was getting everybody to fill in a bit of paper in the timesheet and me going and counting it for every member of staff, trying to work out their mileage and things, now it just automatically generates it all within maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And it's done their weekday hours, their weekend hours, bank holiday hours, travel time, mileage. It's all right there. So yeah, that helps us there as well, really.
Going back to when you first used CareLineLive, how was the onboarding process there for you?
The onboarding process was relatively easy. I think the bit that probably took the most was just getting all the information on there. But what they do is they will send you sort of an area where you can literally search any guidebook. So if you do find that you struggle with any section, like you don't know how to create a contract for someone, or you don't know how to sort of add their bookings on, there's a guidebook there, so it will tell you exactly what you need to do. And it was relatively easy from that point. It's just a bit time consuming, when you first start, but once it's set up, to get one new person on, it's quite quick, really.
And have you got any idea of how much time CareLineLive has saved you in the office?
A lot, basically. Definitely a lot. When I'm doing rotas, they automatically generate for the following week. I know that no bookings are missed because we've set it up that that's the amount of bookings that we need every week. And because they automatically kind of allocate themselves to people, that's even quicker. in terms of the information of what we need to collect, it's just a case of filling in boxes. That's relatively quick. Definitely with the wages and the timesheet or payroll aspect of things and invoicing, that's probably the biggest time save because it just automatically does it. And it's surprising how long we used to take. We used to think we were pretty quick, but we really weren't. And yeah, it's just helped us so much with that. I think it's probably cut a lot of processes down by at least 50%. So we get more time to be doing more, either whether it's going out and doing things like, on-spot inspection supervisions, one-to-ones. We have a lot more time to be doing a lot more of the quality assurance side because we know that the, initial care planning and rostering and invoicing and payroll is already kind of taken care of.
And have you found that it's increased your capacity of your carers as well?
Yeah, it has really, because I mean, there's sections on it where it will tell you, you can turn it on and off, the travel time sort of thing, so it'll tell you exactly how much time you've got in between calls, how long it'll take for someone to go there, and because as well as this, for writing notes, the staff, I mean, at the beginning, obviously those who are technophobes took a little bit longer, but in terms of doing all the care notes on the app now, we find that it's a lot quicker to do that than it is to, write it down on paper. And as well as that, if they don't have the time to call us, they can flag up concerns. So if they want to, flag something to us that they're worried about, they just have to tick a little box, and that whatever that concern is will come through to us and notify us, and then we can be looking at that. So they don't even have to, call us half the time if things are a bit, manic in the morning. Say if someone's had, a fall or they've taken longer on the toilet or things like that. They can raise all that to management, and then when they get the time later, kind of fill us in on a bit more information. So we find that they, in terms of the admin side, we've definitely saved a lot of time, and with more time saving means we can take on extra packages because of that.
Have you found it's helped you with compliance for CQC?
100%. 100%. We're currently, next week, we're going to be doing our little mock inspection. And I went to the care show. Literally last week, I was talking to people from CareLineLive about this. The great thing about this is we've got, we think we've got everything to be compliant. And then CareLineLive will bring out another aspect of their system to be like, we've got these assessments, have a look at these. And when we look at the assessments that you guys provide compared to what we've got, we can see gaps in, our paperwork. So then we can fill in those gaps and be a lot more compliant. It gets us thinking about things we never thought about before. And when you look at that compared to the key lines of inquiries and what they look at, we're just meeting it definitely a lot more, especially with cybersecurity as well, or just data protection in general. Everything's a lot more secure than having a folder full of paper notes that could just be taken by anyone, really. And it includes that sort of privacy as well. So you're promoting human rights. There's just an endless amount of things that CareLineLive can do that matches, compliance, what CQC are looking for, what your local authority looks for. So yeah, 100%.
What would you say to a home care provider that is thinking about using CareLineLive?
Oh, I would recommend it 100%. I know that we had a lot of people very, very worried when we went digital. I think everybody has that. And it's just one of those that you'll think that you'll be a lot more scared of it, or you'll think you'll do worse of it than you actually will. It's literally designed to be as simple as possible whilst meeting everything you could ever want. The staff, like I say, I've worked with many staff who are, they'll hand me their phone to basically try and download an app for them because they can't even do that. So, it's very user friendly. It saves a lot of time. There's great support for it as well. And I think compared to when we were looking on the market of what sort of other companies were out there, there are a lot of companies that either did just rostering or just care planning. but this has got it all in one. You've got everything you could want in one place, so a lot easier in terms of probably costings and just finding stuff, because if it's all in one place, that's a lot easier than going here for one thing, here for another. So yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone. And I do, to be fair, I've been to many sort of meetings or groups with different organisations, and we'll say, oh, who are you using? And I'll say CareLineLive, and I'll always say, if you do change and go to them, make sure you let them know that I sent you, because I do recommend it.